Jersey. Kind of a tricky track, to be honest with you. Two places that are kind of tricky. First of all, it's got this crazy banked oval. It's like a miniature Irwindale, but the bank is super steep. So when you drive into that first oval, it's really, really difficult to get the back bumper right up next to the wall early on. The second part that's difficult is coming off the bank down onto the actual flat. When you do that, the car bounces. It's hard to set the suspension up for that. When I attack this track, I really like to come in with like a clutch kick instead of a handbrake on the first corner, and that gets the back end right up next to the wall really early. It's very committal, and it's hard for people to stay behind you on that one. And then I like to come off the bank just a little bit early to make the transition smoother. And then it's a matter of a real late brake for the hard right turn. And then on the figure eight, basically, stay flat out over the bumps, make as much smoke as you can, and when you're following, try not to get lost.
When it comes to the sport of drifting, we all have our different unique styles of approaching the track. We all come in at different speeds, different line, different angles. But ultimately, when it comes to competition like Formula Drift, it's going to come down to the judges and how they want us to drive. The judges are up there in the judges tower watching us run all day long. Next to the judges tower is a spotter stand. There's my spotter, Ben Chong, that stands in the spotter stand watching me run as well. The judges are going to relay the message to Ben and how they want me to make my changes. Ben will then relay the same message to me and I'll make the changes accordingly.
So we know what the judges are looking for, we know what feels good from the driving seat. It's time basically to go do your worst and see what happens.
So we just finished our event here at Round 3 Formula Drift New Jersey. Overall, I think we had a great experience here. We learned a lot about the new setup of the car. Things were really going really well. Although I still have to tell you, I don't really like this track. It's still tough on the car. It's not really that exciting to drive, but you know, the fans love it because you can see everything up close right in front of you. So let me take you through my rounds for today. In the top 32, we went up against Matt Walden in his 350Z. Matt, he's a great driver. He's a champion from DNCC in Canada, so I didn't really want to, underestimate his driving style. But luckily, our car was so much more set up for the track. The first lap, I led, and pretty much opened up a big gap, big enough so that we had a bigger advantage in the second lap. Second lap going in, I knew he was kind of a little low on speed, so I had to be aware that if I catch up to him too quick, I might straighten out and lose a round. So what I did with the straightaway was open up a little gap, and as soon as we hit the bank, I caught up to him, but I caught up too quick to the point where I almost straightened out, and at that point I was like, oh shoot, what do I do? So I just kind of gave it a little bit more power by kicking the clutch, and I was able to prevent the straightening up from happening.
In the round of 32, which is always a really stressful one, I had Cyrus, which he's in an S13. Those cars are old, but surprisingly fast. I was able to gap him a little bit, leading him, and then following him. He slowed up a little bit in a couple of the corners, but I didn't hit him, and I was able to kind of stay pretty close to him, so we moved on from there. In the round of 16, pulled up with Stefan Verdier. Following Stefan initially, I don't know what happened, but his wheel went underneath his car. He jumped like 4 feet in the air. I saw the underside of his car and slammed on the brakes and slid within an inch of him and stopped and barely didn't hit him. It was so close.
Yeah, there's a wheel right there, so,
The next round was against Darren McNamara in the top 16.
You got that.
Darren, I've actually lost him here last year, so I kind of wanted my revenge back and, you know, outdrive him, but his car is really fast, and as fast as our car is, his car is so much lighter, so, I mean, you know, some parts of the track I had a better advantage because, again, our car is set up really well for this track, but I just have to say it was just his day again, and hopefully next time if we ever do hit him again in the top 32 rounds or top 16 or anywhere, I'd like to take him out.
In the round of 8, I was against Ryan Turk, and Ryan has been one of the fastest guys. We put on a brand new set of hand cooks, scrubbed him in to the right temp, and I just went as fast as I could. Had a good initiation with him, really committal, almost hit him right entering the bank. It would have been a big crash for us both, so I'm glad that didn't happen. Stuck with him pretty well, and then following him, I think he dropped down on the bank a little bit. Whatever happened, I don't know, but we moved on. In the round of 4, I went against JR, and doing the burnout to clean the tires, the first time I've ever felt the NASCAR engine stumble, ever. It kind of had a little stumble to it. I was a little bit worried about it. The guy says don't worry about it, so I got on the line, went to take off following JR, and there was nothing there. It just stumbled, and it took about half the track to clear out. So I don't know what the deal was. We're still looking at the mapping to figure out what that was, but it was a little bit desperate to try to keep up, and then I'm sure he followed pretty well, and we lost that round. So in the consolation round, went against Darren McNamara. He damaged his car. We gave him a little extra time, more than the 5 minutes, so you know we didn't win on a 5-minute rule, and he did an amazing job driving that car with so much toe in. It was unbelievable. He had like, you know, looked like 30 degrees of toe in. But in leading him, he chased me pretty good, I assume, but I saw him on the last corner right next to me with some shallow angle, which is a good opportunity to show the judges how much more angle one car has than the other. So I increased the angle, and I don't know why he didn't do the same, but he decided to kind of go right through me, which is what happened, and spun out, but ended up getting the win for that. So that puts us in 3rd place. Hate to see so much carnage on the track. You know, there were some great clean runs. It doesn't need to be a crash fest, but ultimately, I finally get some new bodywork. That's really what this is about. You know, Stefan doesn't like to replace the bodywork. We've got the same bumpers and everything that we've had on the car since its birth at Long Beach last year. So hopefully we'll have a new deal for the next event, and try to get back on the podium in Seattle.
Overall, I think things went really well, and we learned a lot about the car, and we need to make a lot of changes before round 4 Seattle. So we're going to make those changes, come back even stronger, faster, and hopefully be on the finals or even on the top with Tanner Faust. That'll be cool.
So we'll just try to kind of carry the momentum and shoot for a podium spot in Seattle. But in the meantime, if you want to ask Gushi or I any questions, or you want to see any of the videos, we've got a lot of cool footage on the cars, just go to scionracing.com and we'll see you there.
We designed this second generation TC with the objective to have young people enjoy the car even more than the first generation TC. There are basically 3 points we focused on: driving dynamics, styling, and performance. The current generation TC is a very sleek European-style coupe. On the other hand, this new package is more wide tread and looks like it's grabbing the ground with the more athletic and powerful look. The front is menacing with a sharp glare. The side is also unique and inspired by a full-face racing helmet visor. The rear, as you can see, is also wide tread with flared fenders with mass, giving it a powerful form. This is different compared to the old model. The second point is that we improved the dynamic performance of the car and made the car more fun to drive. We completely renewed the suspension system. The TC has McPherson strut front suspension and double wishbone suspension for the rear. You can tell when you drive it, but the ride comfort is very solid and cornering is stable. We aim to build a fun car with agility, but with stability at the same time.
楽しい車という格好で、僕らはアジリティという言い方をしますけど、キビキビ感を持ってなおかつセーフティーな安全に楽しく乗れる車という形で、ドライビングパフォーマンスを作り込んだという形ですので、
I hope you'll get a chance to come test drive this car.
分かっていただけるかなというふうに思います。
The new TC has a 2.5-liter engine with 180 horsepower, which is 19 more than the previous model.
を搭載しました。でそれとからミッションも従来のミッションよりも段数を増やして AT、MT ともに6速のミッションを搭載して
As for the transmission, both automatic transmission and manual transmission are 6-speed.
9馬力上げて
It has more power, but we were able to improve fuel economy.
燃費も逆に良くなったという形でパワーと燃費エコノミーを両方を取り揃えた。
We added power, but by saving fuel economy, we accomplished a fun car to drive, but also tender on the wallet.
シャシの今回のサスペンションは我々トヨタがヨーロッパで出しているオーリス。
The chassis is shared with the Toyota Auris and Avensis from Europe.
のサスペンション系を使ってますけれども、そのオーリスに対してホイールベースをさらに長くして。
We stretched the wheelbase of the Auris and widened the tread.
サスペンションのジオメトリーは欧州のこのハイスピードのコーナーでも
The suspension geometry was built to perform on the European high-speed corners.
さらにソリッドな形のベストチューニングを図ってというような格好になっています。だからアジリティも
With that as a base, we tuned the car for solid agility and stability.
もしっかり作って いう形になります。で、割と普通の車はどちらかというとオーバーステアで曲がり
Normally, cars tend to oversteer and are hard to turn, but this car is very neutral steer and set up to drive through the winding roads comfortably.
コーナーを抜けていくというようなセッティングになっています。だから十分この車でも欧州の大変厳しいエリアでも戦えると。 The suspension package can most surely take on tough European conditions, and that was based on building it for the US market. 安心してなおかつスピーディーに走ることができます。だからフリーウェイでも車の間をきれいに
On freeways, you will be able to drive clean lines between the cars. This car will be a fun car to drive on the winding mountain roads too. It may be a strange thing to say, but even bad drivers will feel like they have become good drivers and be able to attack the toges.
コーナーが攻める、峠が攻められるというふうに思っていただければ大変ありがたいと思っています。以上です。でそれからやはりこの車どちらかというと
This car is made in Japan, so we filled it with expensive equipment.
つけた関係上ですね、大変我々トヨタにとっては苦戦しました。
But in the end, we are very confident that we are providing a very good car for value.
大変お買い得な車を我々は若者に提供できるというふうで自信を持っております。
Welcome guys, this is Jeremy Lakovsky from Cartel Customs. We're here at 2010 SEMA show. We debuted our all-out stretched Scion XB 2011 model with the dual double suicide 80-inch gap. Most impressive Alpine audio system. Full state-of-the-art Italian leather J couch.
You can tell me what's going on. And
definitely the bar. My favorite part. You know what I'm saying? Rough day at work. Just pop a little frizzy. You know? Got glasses. Just, you know, do it the old school way. And always, you know, the best way of the features is roomy, cruise around. We got this little touch panel here. I can roll down my TV and tell my driver where I want to go. That's the best part. You guys hungry? Where should we go? Where do you guys want to go? Fat Burger? Let's do it. Just roll it back up and it's just you and the homies, you know? Thanks for coming out and hanging in my limo, but you guys gotta go. Peace.
Hi, I'm John Pangilinan, and this is my 2011 Scion TC GT. Basically, I was inspired by motorsports and racing, and when doing this tuner challenge, since it's the best of the best, I wanted to do something outside of the box and actually challenge myself to build a car that in a style that I haven't done before, which is, you know, a full performance race car with slight show touches. So basically, you know, on the exterior we have a great paint job by PPG and Kelly & Sons out of Bellflower. You know, Toyo tires, their racing wheels. I wanted to go with all functional products, all high quality brands, from the raised wheels to the custom Brembo brakes with the 14.6-inch rotors to the Descendant turbo kit and AEM engine management, nitrous oxide system, and HKS exhaust, putting in about 330 to the wheels at a minimal boost. We still need to fine tune it so we can get this car out on the track. Inside we have a custom Scion Racing steering wheel by Personal. We also have one-of-a-kind Willens Recaro harnesses for the seat, and we have a Recaro seat, which I wrapped in Raptivo. Raptivo also provides the carbon fiber roof wrap right there that goes over the glass. The wide body was designed by my good friend and renowned automotive illustrator, John Sebald. So we actually took his rendering, created the body kit, and it will be functional next year. You'll see this kit in full carbon fiber by Scion on Tanner Faust's 2011 Scion TC in Formula Drift next year. Well, you're gonna have to talk to my new manager about that. Nothing less than $1 million. Yeah, I don't know. No, it's not.
We're here at 86 Fest. It's our very first event here in Fontana, California. And man, I'm so excited to have this because it's kind of a big motorsports gathering where we have all the Scion FRS, Subaru BRZ, and A86 guys all in one place just enjoying motorsports. We have guys here doing a meet. There's people here autocrossing. We also have people here doing a road race. And man, this is just super exciting. This is the largest gathering of Scion FRS and Subaru BRZ I've ever seen in my life. And I haven't seen an A86 gathering this big in my life. Well, not in the USA. So the thing is, we never really had a goal. Just 3 weeks ago, we were hanging out at a coffee shop and trying to figure a way where we could get all these cars together. And then we bought the domain, made the website, called up some of our friends in the industry, and 86 Fest.
We're here with the Greddy Performance showcasing our drift car, the Greddy Performance Scion Racing FRS. And I personally brought my own car. It's parked next to it, the red one. And we're just out here to have fun, meet people, talk, and have a great time. What we have here behind me is a Greddy Performance Scion Racing Drift FRS. It's a 2013, and it was built by Greddy in-house. It was a joint collaboration between Scion Racing, of course Greddy, and the motor is powered by a Cosworth-built EJ25. The turbocharger we're using is a Greddy TD06. It pushes about 500 horsepower and a little bit more with nitrous.
The way I started was basically my dad just putting me in a traditional A86, which is kind of funny and ironic because, you know, I started in an A86, did a whole career with drifting, and I ended up back in a Scion FRS, which carries its heritage from the 86.
I used to own an A86 when I was a kid, and it's kind of a similar thing. Like the original A86 was a pretty good handling car and all that, but it lacked a lot of power. But back then, it was probably one of the most powerful sport compacts you could get, so it wasn't the same kind of thing. But nowadays, there's some pretty fast cars that you could buy, and you know, like, it's fun to drive. The car is really fun, but it just needs a little bit more power, I think. Well, the FRS, like, it shares a lot of the rear suspension geometry with the GR Subaru, and the geometry is actually pretty good. It has a balanced amount of stuff in the geometry for the power level and stuff, and it can be easily modified for a lot more power too.
Now that Scion and Subaru came out with the FRS and the BRZ, a lot of us are really just getting very interested in checking out those cars as like daily drivers, so we can either clean up our A86s some more, or we can make them crazier into like full-on track cars or race cars, something like that. And the thing though about the FRS and the BRZ is the car is just so damn capable. So, you know, I think that it's a really worthy contender. It's not too expensive and handles really well, and it's really great for daily driving and for, you know, for motorsports use. So I think it's a perfect package.
Hey guys, so we're here at round 2 Formula Drift, Road Atlanta. I don't know, Tanner, do you like this track?
I actually really like this track. I think it's kind of long. It's got a lot of corners. It's got a really high-speed entry. It's on a real racetrack, so you can push really hard because there's actually kitty litter to go into instead of balls.
Yeah, it's one of those tracks where you get to see different kinds of styles, right? One high speed and then to a lot of angle, really aggressive, exciting. And I think, you know, you're right, it's technical for sure, and there's a lot of places where you can make a mistake.
You can set your car up really specifically for this one, which is cool, but the practice sessions are super, super important for doing that.
Yeah.
We have one right now.
We do. We should get going, actually. Okay. See you guys. Hey, what's up guys? We're here at round 2 Formula Drift in Road Atlanta. We just finished our practice session right now. Things are going well with the RSR Scion TC, and we made a lot of changes to the car. So let me actually have Ben Chong tell you more about the updates we made and what's new about the car.
Hey everybody, so the changes we did this year, starting off with new engine. We started last year with a 3SG engine. This year we're actually using the factory TC engine. If you look here, 2AZ. Barcode for factory 2005 to 2007 Scion TC. Well, those are the changes that we did to the engine. Let me show you some of the suspension and other components that we did. Another big change we did in the front is we added more steering angle to the car to allow Ken to hold a bigger drift angle and carry the momentum through all the corners. We also changed the wheel and tire offset to increase this angle. We increased the rear tire size to 265. Last year we were running 255s. And if you look on the inside and the back, can see that we added some more reinforcement bars to keep the chassis rigid. We also did some fuel system component changes. We gave the car a lot more fuel because this year, you know, we changed the engine platform and we needed a lot more horsepower to the car.
Hey Ben, sorry for interrupting, but I gotta go to an autograph session, so
okay.
Thanks for the
help.
help.
Come back in like an hour because we have a practice session.
Okay, all right, see you later. So now we're actually going to the autograph session. We're here at Road Atlanta. One great awesome thing about this venue is the fact that all the drivers are mixed amongst the fans, and you know, it gives us a chance to chit chat with the fans, make more fans, and kind of talk to the old school fans that's been here since year one. So it's a great venue. You know, people are always great here. They're always really excited and enthusiastic, and it just seems to get bigger and bigger every year. So it's a great time.
It's always cool to do the autograph session. Back at the car, we're just kind of getting things ready for the first practice session this morning. A couple little changes we got to make, but actually the fact is, even though the car looks the same on the outside, it's even got some of the same scratches from last year. Underneath the skin, it's actually pretty different. Stefan knows more about that. Maybe you can explain what's changed in the off season.
Yeah, the focus during the off season was we made actually several changes to the car. We've got a fresh engine for this year. The old engine from last year became our spare, so we're rolling around with the whole spare NASCAR engine now in the trailer. All the rear suspension was originally Supra, and then during the off season we put all the Scion stuff back. The Formula Drift guys want us to run more Scion stuff, so did we. We want to keep more of the heart of our Scion TC. All that suspension's in the rear, but we adapt like the Supra rear axles and all the third member and everything in there. Another change that we did was in the front, we've actually added more steering angle. All the drifters want more steering angle, especially Tanner.
Yeah, it's important to do, but we got practice. We got top 32 right now, so I'm gonna get suited up. Looks like they're almost done here, and we'll get on the track, right?
All right, yeah.
Okay.
Sweet chest hair.
We just finished up the top 32. Crazy at Atlanta this year. Both Ken and I went up against guys who got towed off the track. My guy blew up his engine all over my windshield, unfortunately. Ken's guy crashed into the wall on the straightaway, which I don't know how that happens, but it did. But unfortunately now in the round of 16, Ken and I are against each other. We did this last year, and Ken took me out. I spun out behind him, so it's going to be a tough battle, but Scion versus Scion. So we just finished the round of 16, went up against Ken, and wasn't anticipating some braking he was doing for the last corner. I was attacking him and was able to really attack right on top of him. Barely clipped his back left wheel, just a little touch, and he spun out. But drifting is all about precision. I should have anticipated his braking maneuver there, and so ultimately that's my fault. Ken moves on. I hope he wins the event. They're doing it right now. I'm about to go watch.
The action takers going to lead his boyfriend from the stage. Coming into the horseshoe, Kip Goldberg with a good nice line on that one.
Hey, well that was a pretty interesting event. Good turnout. Unfortunately, there was a lot of contact here at round 2, Atlanta. Obviously, you can tell here we have some rear quarter panel damage that we got in the top 8. Well, let's start off with the top 16 where we went up against teammate Tanner Faust. It was good. It was a very good battle. Unfortunately, we had a little contact when I was leading in the second run. Fortunately for us, we moved on, but in the next round against Chris Forsberg, I stalled at the top of the horseshoe, and that's where we had contact. So it was a pretty interesting event. We had a lot of contact, but great turnout always here at Road Atlanta, and hopefully, you know, we can do better at New Jersey. In the meantime, you guys can check out the new ScionRacing.com website for more photos, more videos, and even if you guys just want to ask us questions, feel free to check it out. We'll see you at Wall Jersey. Hey, what's up guys? This is Kenguchi here at Formula Drift Round 4 Seattle. Now let me tell you guys a little bit about this track. This track is really exciting and it's actually one of the fastest tracks in the series. We got a big, really wide bank, really fast, and they want us to ride up against the wall. I'll go through the front straight as fast as I can, go through the gears, first gear, second gear, third gear, and I put it into fourth gear, kick the clutch and I initiate at about maybe 85 miles an hour. I'll try to ride the bank as close as I can and with a lot of angle and smoke. The second part of the track is where you have that left turn transition where they want to see a lot of angle and impact. Here I'll downshift to third, flick the car to the left with a lot of angle and brake. After this braking zone, I'll downshift to second gear and accelerate through this left turn, getting ready for that last right turn hairpin. This hairpin is actually one of the slowest turns of the series and can kind of be challenging if you don't have the right line to get into that turn. So leave it in second gear, ride the clutch and keep the RPMs high as I exit the last turn and finish the course.
It's kind of a weird thing, to be honest, to be a competitor in Formula D because the atmosphere around the pits is pretty chill. Everybody's friends with everybody, you know? Like Ken and I hang out, you know, a lot of teams have dinner together. I know I go surfing with Reese and Di, and but then once the helmet goes on, it's just battle as usual. And you've got no friends once you put your helmet on. You have to remember that. And once you get into that first corner, it's readily apparent when you're, you know, you're knocking wheels with another guy that, even though he may be your best friend off the track, on the track he's your enemy.
Hey, what's up guys? So we are now finished with Formula D Round 4 Seattle. So let me start off with the top 32. We qualified 15th for the event and we were matched up against Cody Parkhouse in the top 32. Cody is an excellent driver. He's been coming up really fast in the grassroots level all the way to the professional level in the Formula Drift Series now. So I was kind of hesitant to see where I would finish up against him, but we had a really good setup considering we had a tough weekend. But we made it past top 32 against Cody. Unfortunately, his car broke, so we won by default.
All right, first run in the top 32 is against Forrest. And Forrest is in a supercharged G35. Wasn't super fast, and he used a handbrake entry, so that's what I knew about Forrest. It was a little bit tricky following him, to be honest with you. We had one more time going. I think more than one. We had a battle going on with Forrest, and it was really actually, he went really wide coming off the bank, and it was really hard to stay behind him. So we actually did several one more times with Forrest, and that's luckily we moved on. The round of 32 used up half of our tires right there, so we were in a little bit of a bad spot at that point.
In the top 16 round, we were matched up against Justin Pollock in his Falcon-powered V8 Mustang. I knew this was going to be a tough battle, so I had to come up with some kind of strategy to see where I can take an advantage over him. Fortunately, he kind of crashed into me in the last turn of the circuit, the slowest part of the track actually, and that advanced us to the top 8.
Coming into the round of 16, we're dialed in with Samuel. And Samuel, I had gone against in practice, was very fast, especially in a straight line. Has a heavy car, so I didn't have to worry about his braking, but I was able to pull him on the lead run. And then behind him, I got so lost in the smoke and was just completely blind from the end of the bank all the way into the midway through the left-hander, but had enough practice on the track to kind of know how long to stay to the right before transitioning over. Either way, it worked out. Didn't do it one more time on that one. Took down Samuel, that was good.
In the top 8, we were matched up against Takatori in the Drift Emporium S15. This guy, I've been driving with him for a long time and I kind of know his driving style and we're familiar with each other. So I knew this was going to be a fun and exciting round. Unfortunately, on the last turn of the track, the slowest right turn hairpin, I corrected, and the second lap around, I had a clean run, but because of my mistake, he won. Overall, I thought the event was really great. A lot of chaos, a lot of drama, but I think the spectators really enjoyed it. There was a lot of crashes, but for us as a team, we made it back in one piece. We're really happy and excited that we made it to the top 8. Great event here at Round 4 Seattle, and we'll see you guys in Las Vegas. Check it out.
The next round, though, made me actually nervous, was Osbo. And you'd think that he'd be like an upcomer and wouldn't be necessarily something to worry too much about. Not so. He hangs it all out, and the crowd loves him, the judges love him, and he's very committed, and he's a great driver. And now he's got a lot of power in his car. Very lucky to move on against him. He bounced along the wall the whole way. I was right on his door as he's like pinging off concrete. I mean, that was just sketchy, and it set the tone for how aggressive everything needed to be for the rest of the night. But the following round was for the round of 4, and that was Darren McNamara. This is where it really started to get hectic. Darren and I went just absolutely all out. I knew that his lightweight little car would be a little bit quicker than my Scion on the bank. So I made sure that I initiated next to him and was able to stick with him, put in as good a run as I possibly could the first time. He stuck with me exactly the same. We did it one more time. Identical run the next time. Stuck with him even closer. He stuck with me even closer. One more time again. So now we're on our basically second to last set of tires. We go third time with Darren, 2 of the smokiest, loudest cars out here, and he made a little bit of a mistake coming off the bank and bobbled a little bit. We touched, but didn't interrupt his drift, but in any case, I don't know if he popped out of gear or what happened, but either way, that was an unbelievable battle. Some of the hardest driving I've ever done, and we move on. Into the finals with Ryan Turk. Ryan's been super fast. I let him go a little bit on the bank, unfortunately, but caught up to him by the end, and then caught up to him in the course, and then leading him. I knew I was at a little bit of a disadvantage, to be honest with you, and I just went as out of the box as I possibly could. I stayed full throttle for the first time all night, all the way around the oval, and instead of braking coming into the infield, I just increased the angle until the car was almost 90 degrees, and I was expecting to feel the back bumper skip on the wall, and it didn't. And dropped down the infield. It worked out great. Best run that I've had all week. And Ryan was playing catch-up on the bank and ended up crashing into the bank and damaged his car a little bit. But he's okay. We took the win and called it a night. Yeah! We're in Vegas, and it is really, really hot. The track here actually responds to temperature a lot. When the sun is out, it's really slippery, and when the sun goes down, it gets really grippy. It's a treacherous track. It's probably one of the more dangerous tracks we do. I know you hear that all the time, but it really is here. You go into the first corner, it's like a little kink to the right, doing almost triple digits, upwards of 90 miles an hour. Then it's a big initiation along the wall. So your back bumper's against the wall there, slowing down, and essentially you have another wall that's just perpendicular to you. So you're like sliding right at a crash point. The judges are way over here with a clipping point, so you need to get on the gas to avoid hitting the wall. If you bail out and brake at that point, you'll literally crash into the wall. So you have to get on the gas to keep from hitting the wall, graze the back bumper against the wall in front of the judges, and then it's pretty straightforward, tight S-turns from there on. It's all about the first corner, it's all about commitment and big angle, and risking everything in Vegas.
Now I know a lot of you guys are wondering if we even touch the cars in between the rounds each event. The answer to that question is yes, we do. Depending on the track conditions of the event, the weather, the track temperature, or even if it's just simply the road surface, we are always constantly making small changes on the car. Now specifically for here at Las Vegas, because the weather is so hot, it was about 107 degrees all day long, the track temperature is affected, the motor performance is greatly affected, and to compensate for those changes, we got to make small detailed changes on the suspension and the tire pressure settings. After one run, the tire pressures would go from about 32 psi to about 40. So we release some air out to compensate for that change and try to get the performance up to par from there. So we just finished our event here at Formula Drift Las Vegas. I just want to say luck wasn't quite on our side this weekend, and we had a few issues with the suspension and the gearbox. First of all, starting off with practice, we started off having a few decent runs. I was getting warmed up into the runs. Maybe 2 runs into it, I started noticing some severe heavy understeer going into turn 1. I did one more lap until the front driver's side lower control arm snapped in half as I came exiting off of the final turn. Luckily though, it happened off the track, because if it happened on the track going 95 miles an hour, it would have been very, very nasty. We could have probably came off the track with the car in a million pieces, and I probably would have had a few broken bones. So qualify is about to start, and we only have 30 minutes to get this problem fixed. We find out that we don't have a spare lower control arm, so the only option we have is to actually take out the existing broken control arm and somehow piece it together again. Thankfully, the guys at the Rockstar Scion Racing team helped us out with welding the control arm, and unfortunately we had to skip out on the first run, but we managed to get the car together running before the second run. We pulled off a run for the second run without any mistakes, but it just wasn't good enough for the judges, and sometimes things just don't work your way. But we now know why the car was understeering pretty bad, so we'll get that problem fixed, and since Sonoma is one of my favorite tracks, we have a podium finish there, so hopefully we'll come back even stronger, and I'll see you guys in Sonoma.
Going into the round of 32 is one of the trickier parts of the event, because you never know who you're going to get. I was up against somebody that, luckily, I've gone tandem with many times, Eric O'Sullivan from Ireland in his Subaru, and I led him first, and I don't know exactly what happened behind me, but following him, I almost couldn't stick with him, but had a pretty close round, ended up catching up to him at the end, and that was that. Moved on. In the round of 16, unfortunately, I got a hold of Samuel, who is the #1 qualifier of the event. I knew because I was following first that I'd have to stick on him. I got a brand new set of Hancooks. They were as grippy as they can get. His car is ridiculously quick in the straight line, but the Rockstar Scion stuck with him. Made it into the first corner, initiated right with him. Everything was looking good. I don't know if he corrected or anything. I don't think so, but maybe I charged about 3% too much, and I just barely nudged him. But it surprised him enough that he straightened out. And because he straightened out, and it was in part due to my contact, I lost the round. So I went out in the round of 16. In the championship, it cost me a lot. I hope that Samuel will now take out JR. Sorry, JR, but that's the breaks. And in Sonoma, gonna have to turn the heat on, a place that I've done well before, to climb back up the championship ranks.
What's up guys, this is Kangushi and we're here at Sonoma round 6 of Formula Drift. So this track is actually my favorite track. First of all, we have the starting straight. This is where we get the most momentum, the most speed, and it's actually one of the most exciting parts of the track. As we drive the straightaway, we approach the first right-hand turn sweeper at about 95, 96 miles an hour. For the first turn, we'll pull on the e-brake to initiate the drift with a lot of angle, a lot of impact, and smoke. The judges were looking for a lot of impact this weekend, so I knew I had to go in really deep with a lot of angle and kind of risk spinning while trying to maintain the drift. The second portion of the track is actually the slowest part of the track. It's a right turn hairpin going all the way down from third gear back to second gear. Clear that hairpin and then exit the hairpin, upshifting into third gear again at about 25 miles an hour. So we're going from 96 miles an hour to 25 miles an hour in just a matter of 3-4 seconds. So that's really exciting to watch, especially when it comes down to tandem. The last part of the track is actually pretty simple. As we exit that right-hand turn hairpin, we'll sweep again to the left while upshifting into third and just cross the finish line, and that is actually the end of the track. Sonoma is actually my favorite track because it's the fastest, it's the most exciting to watch, and everything happens right in front of you.
Drifting when you're so close to the limit or even beyond it, and you're so close to another car, crashes or collisions or just fender benders are just an integral part of the sport. Being in a crash on the track, it's kind of slow motion. You know, there's a feeling of momentum, like if you're standing on the edge of a swimming pool and you're kind of balancing over it. There's a moment where you can tell your center of gravity has reached the point of no return. And that happens as you're sliding into another car. You can feel your momentum is going into that car unless they get out of your way. There's nothing you can do at that point to avoid it. When you do have a crash, there are some critical things you have to look for. You know, essentially the skeleton and the basics of the car is what's important. The frame, the suspension, the wheels and tires. You don't have to worry about bodywork so much in this sport. When you have an issue, you just go straight to the tire. You look at the alignment, you test the alignment, you look for anything that may have moved or been bent that would affect the performance of the car. You're dealing with just 4 little contact patches the whole time, so it's critical that they're all pointed in the right direction and you're using all of them 100%.
So we just finished our round here at round 6 Sonoma Infineon Speedway Formula Drift. Practice on Friday went, I guess it was so-so because we were trying to find the right line for the car because the judges were looking for something different compared to last year here. What they were looking for was actually a deep line riding along the outside of the course the entire time with a lot of speed and angle. The problem with our car is that it's hard to maintain a lot of angle while keeping the speed up. So I knew I had to choose between speed or angle. And since speed was more consistent, I decided to keep the speed up and kind of shallow up the angle a little bit. We finished in 19th place for qualify, which matched us against J.R. Van Gien. So this is actually where it gets interesting. I knew that my first round in the 32 is going to be tough, you know, because he is going for the championship and I'm sitting in 14th place. The judges are going to be really hard on me, and so I knew I had a tough round. The first run of the top 32 was where I followed JR. In my opinion, I thought it was a so-so run, you know, probably even if anything. And then when the second run came up, I had a really good run, or at least I thought, but the win went to him. I honestly don't know why, but you know, we'll just take it as a lesson, just push harder and harder. Now that we have one more round left, which is the finals at Irwindale, I'm going to try to give it my all. I mean, it's really important that we have a win this season because it's been full of ups and downs. It's just been really tough knowing that we have a car that has so much potential to be on the podium, yet we haven't had a podium this year. So for the finals at Irwindale, we're going to give it all we have. We're going to come back really, really strong and hopefully be on the top.
Today was a long day.
It was a very long day today. Started out round of 32, Pat Mordaunt, can't be overlooked for sure. Fought him and ended up beating him and moved into the #1 qualifier, Tyler McQuarrie, right away. And that was in large part due to the bad qualifying round that I had yesterday. But ended up getting by Tyler and thought, okay, maybe we got something for these guys. Just basically had a good formula. Attack them following, a little bit cautious at the initial braking, and then size them up a little bit, and then just suck right up to them and attack them the rest of the run. And it worked against Tyler, it worked against Reese Millen in the next one, who's been strong this weekend. And I thought it worked against Ryan Turk, but I think I cut one of the curbs and put a tire on top of the curb, which I didn't know this. I never heard this from any of the judges beforehand, but it counted, that tire off counted as going off course. And even though I had an advantage on the rest of the stuff, Ryan moved on. But either way, we went against Forsberg, put a good run against Chris, and got on the podium, so I'm stoked. I didn't need JR to win this weekend. I wanted it. I was hungry, and to be honest, the whole team was really hungry to be in the finals with JR, battling him out, making him really work for that one. And but we go into Irwindale. We've got, this is a track that separates the men from the boys. It's a lot of walls, a lot of speed, a lot of things to hit. Anything can happen there. We need to have a great result there, and we are going to push as hard as we possibly can to get it.
We're here at Irwindale, final round of the 2010 Formula D season. You know, it's the House of Drift for a reason, because the track itself is super dangerous. You know, if you haven't got your car comfortable at this point, then it's going to be a long weekend. The track goes like this. You start from basically a drag start. You got a pretty big long straightaway. You get up to about 90 miles an hour. Flick into the NASCAR turn 3 and 4 of the Irwindale NASCAR Oval, and you ride along that bank, staying as high as you can along that bank. At some point around the Toyota sign, you actually drop down, transition at the start-finish line. Now your momentum is going towards the wall. Transition again in the most difficult part of the track. Brake right up to the wall, on the gas again by the judges' stand. You've gone from about 90 miles an hour to 45 miles an hour straight at the wall. And then it's 2 S-turns where you're not going to win it in those S-turns, but you can certainly lose it there, so you have to be careful. Then the run is done.
Hey, what's up guys? We're here at the final round of Formula Drift, Irwindale Speedway. Irwindale Speedway is where drifting all began for the United States. A couple years ago when I first started drifting, we were actually drifting out in the parking lot here at Irwindale Speedway. And if you look at drifting now, it's kind of amazing how big and how fast the sport's grown. The fan base for Formula Drift and drifting itself as a sport has grown so big that it's quite impossible to imagine when I first started drifting back then. So we just finished here at Irwindale the final rounds of Formula Drift. We made it to the top 32 tandems, but unfortunately we got knocked out early by Justin Pollock. What happened in the lead lap was that, on the straightaway, I kept up with him, but as soon as we entered the bank, I noticed that his car was slightly quicker and his car was already pulling away. By the time that we exited the bank, we already had 2 car lengths from what was only half a car. And at that point, I'm already quite sure that he had an advantage, and the rest of the track I couldn't really quite close the gap. So going into the second lap, I had to push my hardest and give it my all, and in fact I got so close to the wall that I hit, but I didn't correct, so I kept the drift going. But that advantage that he had on the first lap was big enough for him to move on, and so we lost in the top 32, and that was it. For me personally, I'm not quite satisfied with my results, but overall for the team, it's really a great finish, a great way to finish the season, because the car is still in one piece. We still have next season to look forward to, and we have a little
a few things we got to work on, but I'm pretty sure next season will be great for us, and we're really excited.
Top 16 went up against Conrad in his Camaro, and he was actually having some sort of problem, so he couldn't accelerate too fast. We had to redo the first run. I think I got too much of a lead on the straightaway. The Rockstar Scion was too fast for that Camaro. Sounds a little bit odd, but that's how it was. And so anyway, we did the runs, and Conrad had a little bit of some problems behind me, moved on, went up against Justin Powek, who is somebody that has been killing it this year. He's in Mustang number 2 that JR used to have. It's a great car, he's a good driver, and pushed really hard. And that sort of set the tone right there for how things had to be in order to move on. Just attacked him. Then went up against the person who I thought had the best chance of winning this event going into it, to be honest, and that was Darren McNamara. His little Saturn was so quick and so lightweight. I wasn't sure. I mean, we have 600 pounds or more on him. I wasn't sure if we'd be able to keep up, so I really pushed hard to match up next to him on the bank. I even had to initiate literally right next to the guy, and we did it one more time. We had an epic battle in Seattle. I walked away the winner of that one. This one was even more epic, and I was lucky enough to walk away the winner of that one too. But still, the most fun I've had since Seattle. I mean, it was just so much fun to go door to door that hard. Then comes JR in the finals. And with JR, you know, he was going ultra fast. He wasn't even quite as quick as McNamara, but really, really close. Still could go 100%. And you do a lot of things that you almost regret afterwards. Like the risk is just huge that you take when you're just, you know, locked onto somebody at that speed. But when it pays off huge. And that's what happened tonight. First place, overtook Dye in the championship for number 2 in the championship for 2010. Proves the Scion platform for sure. And it's a big year for Rockstar also with all the other stuff that's been going on this year. So we're all stoked. As we go towards the next year, you know, the philosophy is going to change altogether. We're not going to use the V8 anymore. We're going to change things up a bit, bring out a surprise, and it's going to be wicked, whatever it is.
What's up, guys? This is Kangushi here at Formula Drift Round 1 Long Beach. It's 2011, start of the season, and I'm here with my new teammate, Frederick Ospo. I want to ask you guys in helping me welcome him to the new Scion Racing team. And
thank you.
I'll show him a thing or two. What?
No, that's not it.
Was that Norwegian?
That's Japanese, I heard.
That was nothing like Japanese.
Hey, I'm Frederick Ospo, the new guy on the Scion Racing team. I'll be driving the Need for Speed Scion TC this year in Formula D, following my Rookie of the Year last year in the Japan out of Toyota Supra. So this car is built by Papadakis Racing. It's the team that brought Tanner Faust to multiple championships. You know, we're here, Long Beach, debuting the new ride, getting a lot of data in, going steps, you know, big steps at a time. We're really on the steep edge of the learning curve right now, and we're having a lot of fun as we go.
Hey guys, we're here with my RSR Scion Racing Drift TC, and let me tell you guys how lucky I am because I don't have to build my car from scratch like Osbo does. And this is our 4th year in the car. We didn't really have to make any changes. The only difference is we're on new tires, we're on Hankook RS3s, and we made a slight change to the steering angle. So I'm in a good position. You know, we have 3 years of data under the car, and we came really strong for this year. We're just about done finishing up our event here at Formula Drift Long Beach, round 1. It didn't end quite as well as we had expected, but let me take you guys through what we went through the whole week. So Friday morning's practice session actually went quite well for us. The changes that we made to the car actually proved to be pretty good, and I was very happy with the car. I mean, the car was pretty predictable, and you know, this was actually kind of the first time where I felt really comfortable with the Scion Racing TC at this track. And considering that this is the first round of the season and surrounded by walls, you gotta be feeling pretty comfortable to be competitive on this track. So, you know, kind of thought, well, maybe this time it's gonna be different and it's gonna be positive. The late night practice session for Friday, the car was feeling better than ever because we made small adjustments to the tire pressure, and I gotta say, these tires are pretty amazing. I mean, they're stickier than ever and they have a lot of smoke, and that was actually one of our concerns, was the tire smoke. So we got everything locked and loaded. You know, we were feeling good, feeling strong, confident, and come Saturday morning, which is the main day, you know, I was just kind of hanging out before our first practice session started, and when it came time to start the motor, that's when the bad news came, and we found out that the motor wasn't turning. You know, we looked around, found some things wrong with the motor, and came to the conclusion that the motor was gone. So it wasn't a great start for the 2011 Formula Drift season, but it is, after all, the first round, and we have a long season ahead of us. We'll make the swap, the engine swap, make the changes necessary to compete and be more competitive. So we're looking forward to round 2 in Atlanta, and I hope to see you guys there.
Formula D round 1, Long Beach, is over. It's been an amazing event, and here's what went down. First out, I battled John Rosikoff in the Megan Racing Corolla. You know, it was a real tough one. We went one more time. Unfortunately, he hit the wall, straightened out. Very great driver, very consistent, but he didn't have his day. I'm very happy to move on from that. Next up is Tyler McCory, you know, very seasoned race car driver, one of Falcon's finest. Today, it wasn't enough for our, you know, Hankook-equipped Scion TC. Ended up taking him out. I was very stoked. I'm sure I made a dent in the roof. So happy. We've gone, you know, miles with this car these days. It was right out of the box as we arrived Friday morning. The team has done such an amazing job to dial it in to what I'm used to with the old Supra. Overall, top weekend. I'm super, super happy and just very, very glad to be able to go out there and have us, you know, really go at it that hard. Next up, Formula D round 2 Atlanta. Never been there before, but from the looks of it, that track is amazing, and I can't wait to go out there again in the Need for Speed Scion TC with all the team, all the crew, everybody on board. I'm sure we're gonna lay it down. Thank you. For Urbandale, I'm really looking forward to getting back out the House of Drift in front of the Scion Racing, Rockstar, Hankook home crowd, and there's a bunch of people from back home coming. I think in excess of 100 Scandinavians are coming out for Urbandale. So it's going to be a big party. We're in a healthy lead now. We actually increased our lead in the championship this round with Ken in an awesome second place. But you know, it's still ours to lose. We got to come out swinging. These guys are really going for it. But we'll do everything we can to clinch the championship this year. Final event, final fight, possibly the final Urbandale event ever. How do you feel going into qualifying? You know, I feel as ready as I can be, but then again, I never feel fully ready. So, you know, I'll try and treat it as any other qualifying, and we'll see where it'll take us. Fingers crossed. think I should be ahead of him a little bit out here. I think I should already be accelerating hard doing it.
You don't think that allows him to start playing with you potentially?
Potentially. So my goal here is to gain speed as he's having to go through the chicane.
Okay.
So maybe this is the way. But you know, here in second gear, have it hooked up and go. Just go hard, right? Not.
See, what I see here is at that point, you let him go. What if you didn't? Couldn't you have just stayed with him?
Yeah, I could. So the pressure I felt going into top 32 is probably the most pressure I've ever felt. You know, we knew that in order to actually clinch the championship, we would have to win that top 32 battle. And we got to practice with Kristaps, and he absolutely schooled me. So I knew that if we are to win this, Kristaps is going to have to make a mistake.
Been competing in Formula Drift since 2009. He has 40 events, 5 wins, 11 podiums, but the biggest goal for Fredrik Aasbo is a Formula Drift championship. Kristaps Blues, he is the roadblock that is in Fredrik Aasbo's way. Will the Norwegian Hammer have enough to knock it down? All right, okay, here we go. So again, 40 events, 5 wins, been competing since 2009. Are we going to crown a 2015 Formula Drift champion of Fredrik Aasbo? He's out front, but the Kristaps Blues, the evil Empire wall, needs to be broken down by the Norwegian Hammer. Nice run. Oh, and Kristaps Blues, a major mistake. As Fredrik Aasbo zeroes in. Nice and solid out front. Kristaps taking that front clip with him. Aasbo using the whole course. Kristaps zeroing in, but a major mistake by Kristaps Blues. One run of this iconic track of the House of Drift to gain what was a dream, as Ryan said, a dream of his to come from his native Norway. A gentleman that had cut his teeth at Gottville, at Rudskogen, and through the Norwegian, the Scandinavian drift competitions and the battles. We saw him at the Red Bull Drifting World Championship make his stateside debut in Chucky, his prized Toyota Supra, and here he is. A few turns away from a 2015 Formula Drift Championship. Kristaps Blues out front, a bit of a gap here. Aasbo navigates past that front clip, could obviously be closer. Both in proximity. Oh, look at Kristaps Blues dragging the wall. Fredrik Aasbo, great angle from Kristaps Blues. And look at this, Kristaps rotates. Kristaps rotates. Fredrik Aasbo has damage as his team looks on. What has transpired? The Norwegian Hammer, slide him right for Aasbo, left for Kristaps Blues. Brian, it's unanimous. Fredrik Aasbo gets the win here in the top 32, and your 2015 Formula Drift champion and world champion has been crowned.
You know, it was such a relief, such a feeling of accomplishment, and you know, clinching the championship right there and then, it all came together, and it was pretty emotional. I mean, now I know that we're a championship caliber team. We've done it, and I feel like we've done it in style. I've been dreaming about this for 12 years, and I feel like my passion in life is this. I was sent here to drift. That's it. And when you beat the best of the best, when you actually accomplish that dream after all these years, there's nothing bigger than that. This is it. We have arrived, and I couldn't be more proud. There are so many people that have stakes in this, you know, not just the team. They've been working through nights, blood, sweat, and tears to accomplish this. So this victory is theirs as much as mine. Then it's all the unsung heroes in the background, you know, the marketing people with their sponsors, the tire changers at Hankook, everybody at Scion, my family, friends, fans from around the world. This is all for them. And I'm just a product of all the people that believe in me. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you all so much.
Though you may never come back home, I'm no king. Challenge, GTChannel Moto IQ build. We are here in this state-of-the-art facility, Moto IQ's dyno room. Mike, we're getting into some of the engine stuff. What are we doing today?
Well, today we're going to start with some of the basic bolt-ons. We have this Ganador exhaust from Japan. This exhaust is pretty decent. It has all like mandrel bent stainless tubing. It's about half the weight of the stock exhaust. So, you know, we're going to see how much power this thing makes. The other thing I have here is a lightweight underdrive pulley from Unorthodox Racing. This thing's supposed to give a few horsepower and give better throttle response. It's supposed to do that with no ill effects, no perceivable vibration, and nothing bad on the engine. So we'll see how this does. So let's go try it.
All right. All right, Mike, so today we installed the pulley and the exhaust. This thing did pretty well.
Yeah, I'm really surprised. The simple underdrive pulley did really well. We gained about as much as 5 horsepower around the torque peak, and then we got about 2.5 horsepower up and top. But what's really impressive is on the bottom and going toward the mid-range, the lightweight pulley made a pretty big difference. And you can also see that it made an increase across the board, which is usually pretty good. A lot of mods just help in one particular part of the power band, but it made a difference all the way across. The exhaust is also impressive too. I mean, it gave almost 6 peak horsepower, and it also gave about 6 horsepower through the mid-range with a pretty decent gain across most of the power band. So we ended up with a little bit more than 7 horsepower peak, and as much as 11 horsepower in the middle of the power band, right where you need it the most. So for a couple of bolt-ons, that's really dang good.
That's pretty good. Hey guys, it's the Scion Tuner Challenge again. We're working on the RFRS here with Moto IQ. Is Mike from Moto IQ. I'm Taro from GTChannel. Today we're going to be working on some of the smaller things, but they're good details, right?
Yeah, good details. Like usual, most of these TRD things are pretty good quality. Like this shift knob is a nice round shape, kind of like a lot of those tuner knobs. But what's really cool is, you know, like a lot of those tuner knobs are made out of aluminum or something, and then they
get super hot.
Yeah, and it like burns the heck out of your hand. But this is a nicely weighted piece, just like a aluminum one, but it's wrapped in leather. And really high quality, good stitching, good fit and finish. This should actually feel nice on your hand.
Really good. And this is also the leather TRD steering wheel. Nice stitching as well for the hand, and this is the nice point that they have there.
Yeah, this way you can see which side is up, which gets handy if you're like trying to drift or something and you lose your orientation of where it's straight. Has a nice thick rim and keeps the factory airbag and everything, which is pretty cool.
And what do we have here?
That's the Vest mirror overlay, and it has like some cool LED lights to kind of light up the door. And it also has these turn signals, which are kind of like a neon, which is also pretty cool. Purely cosmetic, but kind of awesome anyway.
Yeah, it's the small details that count. Here's the install. Scion Tuner Challenge video. Today we're going to be installing this performance radiator. So why do we need to install high performance radiators if we're developing a high performance car?
Well, we're going to be installing an HKS supercharger, and that's going to add about 60 to 70 more horsepower. And with that horsepower comes additional heat. So we're installing the CSF radiator. This is a really cool radiator. It has a lot of mounting points, so like all the factory hardware, like the fans and shrouds, bolt right on with no fabrication or messing around.
That's good.
It drops right into the stock chassis, direct bolt on. It has like these really wide fins and really wide tubes with internal conductors so that heat can get out of the coolant a lot easier than the stock radiator. Okay. So instead of multiple rows this way, it has just one wide one with a lot of conductors. So it can dissipate like almost twice the amount of heat as the stock radiator. And then it has TIG welded in tanks. The stock radiator has these plastic ones with a gasket that are crimped on, and that can develop leaks at high pressure. And you know, the reason why we talk about high pressure is we're running this special radiator water filler neck and radiator cap. And this radiator cap has twice the pressure as the stock cap. And the reason why we do this is higher the pressure, we can reduce localized boiling inside of the engine, which helps cooling that much better.
That's right. And what are we doing with these hoses?
Well, we have these hoses by HPS, and these are heavy-duty silicone hoses. Silicone has much better thermal characteristics than rubber. It can take almost twice as much heat. They're also multiple ply. The stock hose is like 2-ply. This is like 4-ply, so it can withstand pressure and all that. It also has a low permeability liner. One of the drawbacks of silicone hoses is even though they're tougher and higher temperature, coolant molecules can permeate through the material easier, and you get like that coolant smell. And you know, with the low permeability liner, it's not as bad.
All right.
So we have heavy duty hoses, heavy duty cooling system. We're ready. Hi, we're here to do the unboxing of the HKS, FRS, and BRZ Supercharger. This is a second-gen kit that has never been brought to the United States and actually probably never will. This is a Japan market only part because for the US market, HKS is going straight to the third gen, which would be released pretty soon. The first thing I see here is the intercooler. As you can see, it's a tube and fin type intercooler with nice end tanks. Looks like it has some cast-in bosses for really secure mounting. Now the HKS supercharger is a centrifugal unit. The compressor section is very much like a turbocharger, and one of the things about a centrifugal supercharger is it has a really high efficiency compared to a lobe type like a roots blower. The unique thing about the HKS blower is the transmission isn't directly coupled to the compressor wheel. Like, I'm holding the compressor, but you can see I can move it independently of the pulley. So we have some lines, an oil cooler, a surge tank, and some of the HKS traction oil. Obviously this keeps the supercharger from getting too hot. Like at part throttle, there's a lot of slippage going on. With slippage, you got heat. Charge pipes are typical HKS, really nice quality, nice castings. One of the nice things about castings is you can have smooth, continuous radius bends without all the internal steps and all that can cause turbulence. Here's the supercharger bracket. One of the reasons why accessory brackets are often made out of cast iron is because it's kind of a non-resonant material and it damps out vibration, so that helps for noise. So HKS kits by nature are always very complete. They always have every little nut, bolt, bracket, and screw you could possibly need to install. For your charge pipe hose, it's a good high-quality multi-ply silicone part. It looks like 4-ply, so it should hold boost pressure really easily. You have your supercharger, the charge pipe gaskets, and you have the compressor bypass valve. The compressor bypass valve basically bypasses the supercharger at part throttle cruise. When you're going down the freeway, even though your supercharger is spinning pretty good, the bypass valve will completely bypass all the air. So your traction drive is decoupling the supercharger. Your bypass valve is also bypassing the compressor, so you have very little drag under cruise. This one's actually a mandrel bent piece. It's a pretty nice piece considering it's aluminum. It's heavier gauge than typical, but good mandrel bending. It doesn't have very many neck downs. It's another nice mandrel bent piece with a nice bead rolling. Also heavy gauge for a mandrel bend. And finally, we have a bunch of silicone couplers here. Like the charge pipe, these things are 4-ply, heavy-duty, high-temperature couplers. The HKS kit isn't intended to be the world's fastest bolt-on engine mod for the FRS BRZ, but what it's intended to be is like a highly refined, really daily drivable kit that gives a good, nice power gain. They'll have nice, smooth, predictable power. The kit fits really well, has high quality hardware. It's going to be easy to install. Everything will fit, typical HKS quality, and the installation will be a piece of cake.
Next up is the intercooler.
Hit the numbers we were expecting. Actually a little bit above, so pretty happy with that. I'm definitely impressed with the power on this. It's really good.
When we first decided to take on this challenge, we set out to build a car that we would want to drive every day. Smart, sophisticated, and stupid fast. That was kind of like our slogan. We're happy with how the car came out. I think the car is smart, sophisticated, and stupid fast. Going into SEMA, we weren't really sure about how we would do. It really depended on what the judges were looking for and what they wanted to see from the cars. And ours was probably the least crazy, but probably the most realistic. I mean, if you were going to drive one of those cars out and use it as a daily driver, it would have been our car. So we reached out to Mines, a good friend of ours from Japan. We've done several projects with them in the past. We were talking to them, you know, we got this car for SEMA, we're working with Scion, we want to build something that we've never done before, and they helped us secure a lot of the typical Mines partners from Japan, like Bridgestone, Rays, Takata, Recaro Seats. We ended up, procuring a lot of the parts from Japan, but we also talked to a lot of the U.S. Representatives of those companies here in the States. So we kept the engine stock, but we have a HKS supercharger. As for the suspension, we work with KW Suspension. White Line provided us with bushings to basically cover all the connecting points. So in order to keep the JDM look of the car, we got some Tom's rear tail lamps. And then for the front, we have some TRD headlamps, brighter lights, and it looks way better than the stock one. So really happy with that. Mines helped us out with a lot of the JDM aero parts manufacturers like Esprit that provided us with the front lip spoiler, and a vest that provided us with the mirrors and also the rear wing. We work with Sabon for the trunk lid and the hood. For the wheels, Ray's hooked us up with some Volk Racing ZE40 blue gun metallic wheels. For the tires, we have Bridgestone Potenza RE11S, size 265. Same kind of tires that actually Mines uses back in Japan as well. Anytime you have a car that handles this well and goes as fast as this car, we want to make sure that car stops as well too. So we work with Willwood for the brakes. I would have to definitely say that the last week was the most challenging time for this car. It's because we were waiting on a couple of parts that weren't arriving as they were supposed to. So about a week before the car was being picked up by Scion to be taken to the reveal party, we brought it to G1 Design in Anaheim to get it wrapped. I love how the livery all came out. We work with the guys at Route 20 design studio here in LA. They were really able to bring out the design aspect of the car. You know, I love how the carbon fiber, you know, we kept the carbon fiber look, but the two-tone gray in the front and the back with the blue accents really worked out well. So the car was being picked up on Monday morning to be taken to the studio where the reveal party was being held on. The morning before the car was being picked up, you know, the guys called and said, "Hey, Taro, the stuff's starting to peel, you know, off the back of the car." So, you know, we had to rush it back to the studio and get everything ironed and heated up and dried and prepared for pickup. So that was kind of a last-minute thing that we had to really scramble to get done, but we were able to, you know, step up and meet the deadline. At the same time, we had to install the Recaro seats and the Takata harnesses. The Recaro brackets that came with the Recaro seats needed some fabrication in order for it to fit in a natural style without, you know, having to have your head stick out of the window. Tatsu at, you know, Tokyo Automotive, he opened up the shop for us in the weekend, and he fabricated some stuff for us because the stuff that arrived just didn't work. So at the launch party, all the Scion Tuner Challenge cars were displayed. I was just really happy that we were able to get to that point. I mean, I have to thank everybody that provided the parts, and especially Moto IQ and Howard at Techno Square. I also want to thank all of our sponsors that helped us, you know, with the parts and the help that they provided to getting the car done. I mean, without them, this car wouldn't be here today. You know, it was a, you know, competition, but I was just happy to be there, be one of the cars representing the Scion Tuner Challenge. I think Super Street did a great job with their ITB FRS. I mean, it screams show car, and it's something that, you know, only Super Street would have done and could have done. Speed Hunters, Keith and Andy, I mean, they did a great job designing the car and implementing it. I mean, it's tastefully done, and it's a, you know, retro look to the old, you know, Toyota Motorsports heritage. And, you know, hats off to those guys. I mean, they did a great job, and they deserved it. We did our best, and we accomplished what we were set out to do. We set out to build something that was tasteful, you know, sophisticated and fast, and we'll see how fast this thing will actually go on the track someday. But, you know, at the SEMA show, we were able to showcase it, and, you know, it's all about, you know, doing it and the relationships that we were able to foster. I knew when we took on this challenge that it was going to be hard and it wasn't going to be simple, but the rewards would be bigger than the challenge. It's a passion project, and I felt proud of having our car out there. I felt proud of you know, the team. We came through and we built the darn thing. Would I do it again? Maybe not in 2015, but hey, 2016, if they have a new car for us to build, yeah, maybe in 2015 again I might do it. It depends. Call me again in August.
I could go out in the dark and see you calling my name. I hear you shouting, hear you calling, but it's not the same. Every word that you are throwing right into my back doesn't matter to me, cause I'm keeping my track. Let me go. Let me go.
Hello, my name is Moto, and got the friends from Club 4AG here at the Redline Time Attack Extreme. I'll correct that later, but yeah. Open track event. We've got a bunch of FRS, you know. So we'll go interview some of these guys. and get the feel of the event. This is Gil.
How you doing?
He is a avid FRS owner that he's been around since the first month of the car coming out.
And back last year in June.
Yeah.
The first track that you took me to, I was
Right.
really scared, kind of like, oh, this high speed stuff, you see other cars flying past you, it's a little intimidating, but as you get more comfortable with the car, it just feels really good. I'm glad that I'm actually learning on this platform on the FRS, and with Moto's help, I think just learning a lot, really.
Our time together always ended up in war. Every whisper made you jealous, and then from the start, it is nice to see you shouting out for throwing me out. No excuses, but this time it's gonna be the last.
This is Sandy from OEM Audio.
Hi. I am an FRS owner and have gotten the bug, and definitely wanted to try to get what the car is all about in a track situation. So it's first timer, and I have my 18-year-old daughter here with me who's also a first timer.
She's his daughter, Ariana, and she's also registered for the event. So we'll ask her, how do you like your first track experience?
Well, from being on the track for the first time, it was a little nerve-wracking at first, but once you really got on there, and it's completely different from watching, but once you get on there, it's just so much fun. You forget about the nerves, and you just have like the time of your life.
Let me go. Let me go.
This is Eric, Beat Sonic.
So FRS, engine-wise, it's pretty stock. We haven't done any modification, except the exhaust system that we have is the M7 titanium exhaust from Japan. We have that, and we're also running the RSR suspension, the iShock, 32-way adjustable, and it's a custom-made spec by Moto over here. And we also have this new roof spoiler. We have the shark fin antenna up there, and also a backup camera, which doesn't really have too much to do with racing, but it's what we manufacture.
Oh, baby, let me go.
This is Miles. He's another new FRS owner who's coming out to experience racetracks, first year. What do you think of the FRS as a car, and what do you think of it, on a day like this, at a place like this?
Well, this is the second time I've been to Buttonwillow. Went with Moto Black Friday event that we had earlier, which was great. And this time around, I have a little bit of a change in my setup with the new tires, and I love the track. The day is beautiful. There's a lot of cars, it's a little busy, but it's still a great learning experience. Getting coaching from Moto, we were going over lines and stuff just a little while ago, and hopefully I can implement those on the next round. The FRS is an amazing car, it's so flat through corners, it's great.
Now I go out in the darkness, smiling back at your face, with a nice and cozy feeling after leaving your place. This road will lead me somewhere I don't really know, but it's somewhere someone always makes my day somehow. Let me go. Let me go. Let me go. Stop shouting, let me go. Let me go. Let me go. Let me go.
As opposed to my first track day, it was kind of so much information where I couldn't really get a pulse on the car.
Car's driving you.
Yeah, the car was driving me. Now I'm having, a lot more awareness, like figuring out, the car's actually doing this. This is what I should do and whatnot. So
Start getting comfortable with what the car's doing and
definitely
understand what the weight transfers are doing and how the car reacts to everything.
And actually understanding all the technical jargon that's going on.
Yeah, and a few times a day you make big mistakes and you kind of fall off the edge of the track a few times, and now you're getting used to how far a car can travel when you make a mistake at that speed, So next time you're in the canyons or whatever, you know, you think twice before trying to late break into it or practice heel and toe, whatever, you know. So, I don't know. Did you enjoy the video? I hope you did.
The hottest Japanese sports car on the market right now is the Scion FRS, or Subaru BRZ as it's also known. Oh yeah, and let's not forget its home market name, the Toyota 86. More names than a British prince or a wannabe rapper, how will the car do in our gauntlet? As far as looks go, it does catch our eye, but we're hoping its 200 horsepower has enough punch to set some quick times. The FRS hooks up pretty well, as you can see here. Standing starts were done by dropping the clutch around 6,500 RPM. As always, our measured runs were at another location. Let's watch and listen as Duncan Indy takes the front engine rear drive car around the track.
So the initial impression of the FRS is a little bit, maybe a little bit more nose heavy than I anticipated. It doesn't seem to be as adjustable on the way into a corner as the Mazda is. But it makes up for it, or the trade-off seems to be that they've tuned the chassis to be looser on exit. But all in all, it's still a very neutral car. Nice transmission too. Really, really short gear shift. Really feels like a precision instrument. Also not quite sure if it has what I expected in terms of a flat 4 engine note. Although it does sound cool. This is a really adjustable car, but like, it does have more understeer than the Mazda did. That's for sure.
The FRS killed it in the price and fuel economy departments, which is usually a trade-off for fast lap times and acceleration. Still, its 80.5 points is more than respectable. A pretty good all-around performance by the FRS. We thought it would score better in styling, but girls may not be as impressed by its looks as us guys. Take note, single dudes. You might want to save up for a Z or something.
The concept of my build is basically following a luxurious theme. It's inspired by luxury goods such as Chanel and Hermes, and I wanted to create that next level of VIP, and this is what I have built. In the Northwest, we lack representation, and I would like to be the forefront for our new movement in the Northwest when it comes to car building. We have tasteful designs and details, and I think what we want to present as well is a cohesiveness of design. Not just people that put stuff together, but we build stuff. We don't buy it necessarily, but we think it of our imaginations and we put it into play. Everything's cohesive and thoughtful and everything just works in unison. So that's what the Northwest is all about.
Try to touch base on every aspect of the car. At the same time, make it streetable, daily driven. In a build, in an idea, we definitely like to make sure that it's daily driven, or it can be daily driven. We wanted to bring the style from Southern California, the mecca of tuning cars and performance. We wanted to keep it clean and simple. The name of the build is Simplicity, or simply TC. And keeping all the factory body lines intact, just accentuating them a little bit more, and keeping it still clean and keeping it TC. When we first heard that we had 90 days to build a car, we overlooked it. We didn't realize that 90 days to build a car complete is a challenge in itself. Tempers did flare at times because we all have egos, we all have our own ideas, but we did well managing that. But again, tempers did go up a little bit, but we see ourselves as family and brothers at the end of the build. We'd like to see that everybody can see themselves in the car like this, as far as how it's useful, how it can be driven every single day. Take it out to the track, still gain respect. At the same time, you know, when it's sitting at the car show, it's an eye catcher. But overall, how simple and clean it is.
Hey guys, this is Taro from GTChannel. We're taking on the Scion Tuner Challenge this year. The car will be at the SEMA show. When we first decided to take on this challenge, I called up my buddies in Japan and we decided to team up with Mines. So the whole concept of the car will be, what if Mines, the greatest GTR tuner in the world, were to tune a Scion FRS. So the concept will be clean, sophisticated, and stupid fast, just like Mines. So we also called up Mike from Moto IQ. We're actually here at his shop. We will be building the car here at Moto IQ in the States, but we'll be shipping a lot of parts over from Japan. So keep up with our build here on GTChannel. Hey, it's day one of Scion Tuner Challenge. We are here at Moto IQ's headquarter factory here. I'm here with Mike Kojima, Moto IQ Chief, and Howard, the man from Techno Square. Mike, what are we going to do today? What do we have here?
Well, what we're going to do is upgrade the suspension on the Scion. We're going to go way into it more than most people because I guess we're kind of famous for doing our handling stuff, right? So we have a full complement of stuff from KW and White Line to install in the car. We're going beyond just the normal coilovers. We're going to be doing all the bushings and doing stuff to fix the geometry stuff on this car.
Okay, so not just looks, but we're going for full performance here on this car. Mike, walk us through, what do we have here?
The heart of any car's suspension is the coilovers, and we got a really good set of coilovers from KW Suspension. These are their Club Sport coilovers. The Club Sports are the closest thing to a race shock that you could drive on the street. They were designed for the guy that daily drives his car, but he does track days and maybe even races on the weekends. So it has most of the capability of their motorsports shocks, the really high buck, super trick stuff that we run in Formula D and in road racing. But it has a lot of concessions for everyday durability too. Some of the trick stuff is it has independently adjustable compression and rebound damping. This allows you to precisely tailor how the car acts in bumps and cornering, and also how much traction it can get off the line and coming out of corners. It's a tremendous amount of flexibility. Most other coilovers are only single adjustable, and they're only usually adjustable in rebound only, and so that kind of limits what you can do. Some of the cool things about these is they have a lot of concessions for daily durability. Like coilovers, probably a lot of you have gotten your adjusting collars stuck and then you're kind of screwed from corrosion. Well, KW, they make their shock body out of stainless steel, and there's no way this is going to corrode, not even in salty winters on the East Coast. They also have a non-corroding stainless adjustable collar that's covered with a self-lubricating plastic, so there's no way this sucker's sticking. Some of the other cool things is we have an adjustable camber plate where you can adjust the camber up and top, but unlike a typical camber plate, this is a fully sealed unit. It's hard to see here, but you have full rubber seals, top and bottom. They prevent water and other things that can corrode the bearing from getting in there. Every other camber plate, the bearings are just open to the element, and this is a high maintenance item. It has to be replaced. With the KW, it's sealed, should last a really long time. Another cool thing about the KW is you have an additional camber adjustment at the bottom. This enables you to use the top adjustment to do things like set the kingpin inclination angle, so you can set your scrub radius, but you can still set your camber at the bottom. So, like I said, these things have a tremendous amount of flexibility, and you can set the car up really good for daily driving comfort, or even going on the track with our compound tires. It's really cool, and in my opinion, this is probably one of the best coilovers you can get for the money. Great stuff, and really streetable even. One of the next things is the stock FRS suspension. Yeah, it is pretty adjustable, but the range of adjustability is really limited. So when we lower the car, we can't get rid of all the toe and the negative camber that we gained. So to fix that, we got this trick billet lower control arm from White Line. This thing's machined out of 6061 billet, CNC machine, pocketed out to get rid of the excess weight. Has a lot of adjustment range and urethane bearings. What's really cool is it has this adjuster where you can like adjust the camber by only turning this one bolt. Like we have right hand and left hand threads. Like a lot of other adjustable arms, you have to actually undo the arm, spin this thing around, and then put it back. But this thing, you can keep everything bolted together and adjust the camber just from one point like that. Super cool and super quick. The other thing is we have this White Line adjustable toe link. You know, like the lower arm, it's made out of billet aircraft aluminum. Nice, strong, and stiff. Has right and left hand threads, so you can adjust the toe just by turning this. And it has urethane bushings that reduce flex. This is a great part also. Perhaps like, you know, one of the trickiest parts is this White Line bump steer roll center correction kit. Now this is the part that guys, when they really lower their cars, totally overlook. When you lower a car, especially one with McPherson strut front suspension, the roll center, and that's the point in space that the car rolls around, gets really low as the car drops. Now the distance between the roll center location and the center of gravity is a lever arm that actually allows the car to roll more. So you might be lowering your car, but you're actually increasing the amount of force to roll the car over in the turn. So even though you're dropping the CG through lowering, you're still increasing you could still be increasing the amount of body roll. Another thing that's bad is when you really lower a McPherson strut car, the geometry gets to the point where you actually get positive camber under roll, and positive camber does not lay down a good tire contact patch. This White Line kit relocates the lower control arm so it's in the same position as stock even when the car is lowered a lot. It also keeps the roll center in about the stock location in a car that's lowered a lot. Now what this does is it reduces the distance between the roll center and the center of gravity, so there's less lever arm to roll the car in the corner. And it also keeps the car from rolling into negative camber. It also has these tie rod ends, and they put the tie rods in the correct position so bump steer is reduced. Bump steer is when you hit a bump and the tires point in different directions and the steering wheel is pointed. Now if you put the tie rods in the correct position, this problem can be minimized. So this White Line kit actually makes a really huge difference, and it's something that's overlooked by a lot of guys when they fix up their cars. Really important part. What we have here is some polyurethane bushings. Now when you look at the floor, we have a whole bunch of these polyurethane bushings. These are all White Line parts. And basically what we're doing is we're replacing just about every bushing in the whole car with polyurethane. The stock factory stuff is rubber, and it's designed to be soft, squishy, and compliant, so you have a nice, smooth, quiet ride. But that's really bad for handling. The rubber allows the suspension to have the tires point in the wrong direction. Camber could be wrong, toe could be wrong. right into the highest cornering load, all when you need it the most. So we'll get rid of all the squishy rubber with the white line polyurethane. The white line polyurethane is pretty cool because it's formulated not to squeak, and it is formulated to be more elastic than typical polyurethane, so it should have a longer life. We're going to be replacing every suspension pickup point with polyurethane, all the cross member mounts with polyurethane, and all the differential mounts. We'll also be replacing the tranny mounts. So one of the problems the FRS has when you hop it up for more power is it gets wheel hop. A lot of the wheel hop is because of all the rubber and the differential and subframe moving back and forth. So this will get rid of wheel hop. It'll prevent the tranny from like healing over when you like shift really quick, and that'll help shifting under load. I guess the final thing I forgot is this strut tower brace. Now, chassis stiffness is always important because if the chassis flexes, then your suspension tuning doesn't work as well. You want the chassis to be stiff, so most of the work is done by the suspension, not by the chassis bending. You can tune the suspension, but you can't tune the chassis. This is a white line strut tower brace, and it augments the stock tower to firewall braces that the car comes with.
Scion's been dominating the Manufacturers Championship this year, and I'm pretty sure they got that sealed up. I mean, just the cherry on top would obviously be the Drivers' Championship, and then, you know, if Osbo and Ken and I all came first, second, third, that'd be a domination, utter domination across the board. So that'd be really cool for the brand itself. You know, we're all drivers. We all want to win no matter what. So we're all going to give it hell on the track and see what we can do, and you know, try to fight for podiums every single time. You know, usually any new chassis that you get, you're always going to go through those developmental stages, and it's the third year for us in the FRS chassis. One of the biggest things that, besides having Nameless come on board to handle the BC Racing suspension and really get the car dialed on track, it was installing a WiseFab kit, front and rear kit, and I know Ken did the same thing. This season, a huge help for me has been building my my so-called street car FRS that I have. It mimics the professional car. I've been able to drive that outside of competition quite often.
I'm a very methodical driver, so I look at the stats, I analyze everything we do on track, and we try and learn from that. And I think our progress in the series really shows that determination to gradually learn and get better. We almost won the championship last year. This year we're really close. We're leading the championship coming into round 6. So, you know, it's just hanging in there, learning from everything you've done, good and bad, and take it to that next level. And I think the moment you start looking back over your shoulder, the moment you start feeling like you have to defend your position, you've already lost. We've really gotten the TC dial in terms of motor and handling and suspension and tires and everything. So it's just, you know, it's been a long time in the making, but now it's paying off.
Our success comes from, you know, my team coming together, making sure that they develop a really awesome car, and it showed in Atlanta. We got a second place podium, third place podium in the next round in Orlando, and having 2 consecutive first place qualifying sessions. So the secret is teamwork. Obviously my fans and sponsors as well, just all these different elements kind of came together and clicked. My goal for this year is to, you know, it was obviously to try to go for the championship after round 2, since we were sitting so high in the rankings. But Frederick's been on a roll. He won 2 events in a row, the past 2 events. So the championship might be out of reach since he did qualify first this round at Texas. But second place is still within reach and striking distance. So my next target would be Ryan Turk. I mean, I still have to be the top finishing FRS out there. Tomorrow, our strategy is just going to be, you know, go 120% from the first round of tandem all the way up to the finals, hopefully. championship is close. Well, it's not close. It's pretty far away. Frederick still has a significant lead, but the gap got closer definitely. So we'll get him in Irwindale.
This Formula Drift Championship, it's not easy, is it? It's so hard, and it comes down to the final event of the year at Irwindale every year. It's like it's scripted, but it's not. Or is it? Oh boy, at least we're in the hunt. Ken's doing well. Team Scion is up there. What an awesome season.
Well, right now we're sitting third in the championship, sitting here at Irwindale going into the final round, and I'm just trying to figure out, I know it's a little late in the game to do this, but figure out what needs to happen here. I know JR needs to, if he wins the top 32, I think it's a done deal. And his guy that he was going against in the round of 32 crashed his car last night. So there were a lot of people in the pits helping him out, getting that car together. We want to have a show for that. I was underneath that car replacing his transmission for about 6 hours. I'm just kidding, not really. But you know, that's the feeling right now, is competition. We all want to see what happens. The whole world of drifting is going to be watching JR in that first round of 32. If he doesn't pull it off, then the door's open for Dai and I. If he does, then Dai and I are battling out for second. My first round is going to be a little bit tricky, just like everybody's. But you know, it's a long night, so just gonna settle in and try to make it to the end. Car feels good. We made a lot of suspension adjustments yesterday. You know, the Rockstar Scion has been really good all year, and this is its last event in Formula D. So if anybody's in front of me, I'm going to push right through them. No, I'm just kidding. Although that's been my MO lately. But that's, you know, it's just going to have a clean event and run hard, attack everybody, and try to leave nothing on the plate. I've never seen the hood open on this car with any steam or anything ever coming out of it, so you know, it's a retirement event.
Just drive it to the ground. You've been given a go. It's the last event. I'm not parking it.
Yeah, the new Scion TC is out. The plan is to run one of those for next year. It's a very cool looking car. It's actually a lot of new stuff, even though it looks similar to the current TC. There's a lot of new stuff under the skin, and we're going to come at it with a whole different philosophy that you'll just have to check it out at the beginning of next year to see that.
So bring them on up. First place at round 7 in Irwindale, California. Tanner, Golden, Child, Faust. Get on up there, buddy. These are your winners here at round 7 of Formula Drift Irwindale.
Tanner Faust in first, Falcon Jr. second, and Michiro Takatomi in third.
Hello, I'm Stefan Papadakis with the Rockstar Scion team, and this is Tanner Faust's new ride that we built for 2009. This is a 2009 Scion TC. Big change in this car is it has a V8 in the front and it's rear-wheel drive. It's a really cool setup. We actually used the NASCAR V8 out of the NASCAR truck series. So it's a 5.7 liter naturally aspirated engine, but we actually made it fuel injection. Other cool stuff is a lot wider than a stock TC, and we run a big tire, a 245 tire in the front, 285 tire in the rear. Other cool stuff is it has all the AEM fuel injection on it, full racing interior, all the cage, Sparco seat belts, all that kind of good stuff. Other than that, all the suspension and everything, all the Takiko suspension is set up for drift, and plan on, last couple of years, Tana's won the championship with Formula Drift, and plan on hopefully winning again this year. There's a lot of challenge with converting a front-wheel drive car to a rear-wheel drive car because, obviously, the drivetrain never went to the rear. But what we did was we made some engine mounts and everything to mount the V8, and then the rear suspension is out of a '94 Toyota Supra twin turbo. So it has a real strong rear end, suspension, axles, all that kind of stuff, and we kept it in the Toyota family.
You qualified third, well, that's pretty impressive with the new car. What are your driving style? How do you have to change your style with this new car?
Well, there's a lot more weight up front with this car because of that big engine, and it just barely fit in the car, and there wasn't a lot of choice on where to put it. So it's, the car rotates. The part of drifting that's interesting that you don't get in other motorsports is how the car pivots side to side. And where the Z pivoted kind of, if I was sitting in the driver's seat, if the pivot point was like right in the center console here, this car pivots up more where the engine is, so the back end swings a lot wider. So I just have to be careful on the transitions not to let the back end swing all the way out to the wall. It's just a adjustment. Plus the steering feels different, everything feels different. So it's the stuff I like is being on the steep side of the learning curve, trying to learn the new stuff. So I'm having fun with it.
Okay, congratulations, and how do you think you did on your first event?
Gotta be happy. Gotta be happy. Of course, as a competitor, you always want first, but first run out in the Scion, I gotta be honest, Tuesday I was not real comfortable, so the guys really killed it Wednesday and Thursday and put the car together and appeased my whims, I guess, and Friday, and now the cars were great, and I think we got a really great road ahead of us.
We had a lot of one more times, but the car held up.
no problems about reliability there, right?
You know, I got more seat time today than all the rest of the days combined. You know, we did at least 9 runs just in competition. So doing 9 in each run, of course, is 2 runs. So that's 18 runs in tandem. That's great practice. I mean, I couldn't pay somebody to come out and spar and give that kind of practice. So I'm ecstatic about that. And, you know, this Toyota NASCAR TRD engine crushed it. The Scion, you know, even took a little bit of a bump. And Papadakis Racing put together a phenomenal, strong car. And even with that kind of a bump, which maybe in the Z would have meant some fixing, no problem. Just pop the bumper off. And so I think for the Rockstar Scion, it's a great debut.
How about looking forward to round 2?
All right, round 2, Atlanta. This is the place where you can push a little bit harder. Speed's a little bit more important. Reese's car is going to be suited perfectly for that with its longer wheelbase. And torque is king, and that's one thing that I'm fighting to get more. You wouldn't believe it with the NASCAR engine, but this thing wraps up to 9,000 RPM, and all that power is up high. So it's going to be an interesting race for us in Atlanta, an interesting event. And, you know, with Ryan and Samuel up, you know, they're in the old hats, you know. Viper and new and improved Scion can be absolutely tough to beat, but I think a new person is probably going to win every single round of this series. It's that competitive.
Well, congratulations on your podium finish.
Thanks, Taro.
Thank you very much.